Hello and welcome to my channel, Inviting Possibilities. My name is Rochelle and I'm here to do the daily reading for Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Happy 420, everyone. Yeah, this is for the collective. It's a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest, that whole thing. I'm going to be using my Osho Zen Tarot deck today. And we'll see what's going on this Wednesday. Ooh, we've got control. Oh my goodness, and suppression. Transformation. Interesting. Okay, so there's been some kind of way of thinking, way of believing showing up in the world. Good morning, Jojo. Welcome. And yes, thank you everyone for liking, subscribing, and sharing. So this is a very rigid way of being that doesn't allow for new perspectives, new thoughts, new ideas. This is like, no, this is where I'm at. This is who I am. This is what I think. And there's discussion over, basically. And the problem is that it crystallizes the energy around you and it doesn't let things flow in, because typically, excuse me, still trying to get the all the functions going, like talking. um when we're in this place of rigidity, we're not open to allowing the universe to give us what it wants to give us, which is pretty much always going to be better than whatever you're hanging on to. Maybe not at first, but eventually there's always a reason, I believe, or a plan or something where in order to receive your good, you have to be open to it. You have to open those fists. Um, when those fists are closed, there's no energy flow. And this is the kind of thing that holds a lot of people back. So control with suppression, it's like this is a self-made prison. This is needing to be right. Um without even really considering things, and it what it's doing is it's like a heavy weight holding you down. And the thing about this card that always strikes me is that there's all these ropes on this person. And he kind of he we'll say he, is all tied up, and yet you can tell these ropes aren't bound very tightly. He could shake them off. Um, and he's feeling burdened. He's feeling this heavy weight of these thoughts, these beliefs, these ideas. And it's just, yeah, it's weighing him down. It's weighing you down. And so there's a need to shake off the binds, shake off the restrictions, to start to try and do things differently than you've done them before. Makes me think of that movie Yes Man. I think that's what it's called, with Jim Carrey, where he decides, okay, I'm just going to always say yes, because he's used to not. And so it's shaking things up. If you always say yes, start saying no. If you always do something one way, try something different. If you always load the dishwasher a certain way, just shake it up. Do some It doesn't have to be like there's no one way to do anything. I mean, there are 8 billion people on the planet. Like, there are basically 8 billion different ways to do things. So it's loosening up and lightening up, because that's what's going to allow you to be able to like shake off the heaviness and the burden and stand tall and like have this clear mind. And so what comes from that is the transformation, where you're stretching yourself beyond these boundaries that probably have been set for you already, and you're just hanging on to that. But it could also be this kind of rigid way of being as a form of protection, which many of us create when we're children, and then we carry it into adulthood, and it's not always relevant anymore. Very often it's not. And so anyway, loosening up, lightening up, it helps you break the chains. So we've got the broken chain here. We've got the snake here, which is like shedding that old skin. The phoenix rising, cutting away the things that are not relevant anymore, finding some kind of balance. There's the yin yang right there. Um, and this is about a spiritual awakening, or a spiritual journey, spiritual growth, because of the lotus flower here. And then if you notice, this figure is touching the mouth of this. And so it feels like this is this is allowing you to be able to speak and express yourself in a new way. Um, because somehow in this energy, there's a lot of holding back, not being able to speak your truth, possibly not even knowing your truth. This transformation brings a lot of new energy, and so you may start to realize that these ways of believing and seeing and thinking um, don't fit you anymore, and maybe haven't for a long time, but you were just holding so tight because you're like, well, this is what I was told, this is how it's always been. And it's like, you can shake it up a little bit. um I want to what do I want to do? You know what I'm going to do is grab some Queen of the Moon oracle cards. Power. This is about stepping into your power. This energy, even though it can feel powerful, better to say, even though there's a perception of you being powerful in this energy, this is actually depleting you and your energy. It's not allowing the good things to come in. This card is about opening wide. This is about standing in your truth, but making sure that you're flexible within that. Your power comes from being authentic, and I feel like this is hanging on to something that is not truly a part of who you are. Um yeah. So let's see. And then we have growth. Growth. Shaking off the binds, growing beyond the limitations that you've set for yourself. This is about, it's that idea that nature is stronger than any kind of man-made, um I want to say like cement, like a flower or plant pushing through the cement or pushing through a boulder or something like that. Like, this holds you back. This kind of, the natural world has the strength and the power to help you to rise above. And it's what gives you dominion over your world. and actually allows you to put in roots. You can't put in roots when you're like this. This kind of structure can be toppled. Be like the tree in the storm, firmly rooted but able to sway. Yeah, that's right. The earth will break through man-made concrete. Exactly. And assessing. This is about looking into your future, towards your future. It's about this is a part of the transformation where you're assessing and reassessing where you've been, where you want to go, what has worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, and knowing that you're not happy here. You're not satisfied with your lot in life. It's time to it's time to go on a little trip. She's at the top of a hot air balloon here. It's time to move into your future. And in a hot air balloon, you're in a way you have some control over your environment, but you're being moved by the the currents, the wind, you're seeing things in a whole new way, a new vantage point. Both of these are kind of rising up above, and understanding that you want something different. You want freedom. You want happiness. You want to be you want to be free of this burden. And so it's about, yeah, moving forward um in a whole new way, and feeling optimistic about what you're moving towards, because up to this point you haven't been. So, all right. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on the next video. And thanks again for liking, subscribing, and sharing.